So a few weeks ago, I announced that I was on the hunt for a second project car to build alongside my TT225. I've been looking for months, and I've been doing a ton of research to narrow down what kind of a car and what kind of build I want to go alongside this thing. More than anything, I want it to be different than the TT. And I'm not just saying I want it to be a different model, that's pretty obvious. What I'm saying is I want it to feel different. You see, the TT is a turbocharged all-wheel drive coupe. It's a small car that loves tight corners and technical tracks. It's an extremely controllable car and something that is very refined. This is due to its smaller profile and 4-cylinder engine. To be honest, in my life I've only really ever experienced 4-cylinder engines. My first car was an Acura RSX, which had a naturally aspirated 2-liter. My second car was an A4 Avant, which had the same engine as the TT with a smaller turbo. In other words, I've really only experienced 4-cylinder cars, and I am very accustomed to that sort of acceleration curve. So deep down, I was leaning towards something with more cylinders. I still wanted to keep the turbochargers because I love the tunability. To add to my ever-growing list of requirements for this car, I honest to God wanted one that was broken, so I could get it for a reasonable price. It sounds kind of strange to be looking for a car that's broken, but with the current price of used cars being so astronomical, it's kind of the only way to find a really good deal right now. Plus, I will learn a ton about the car fixing it, and that will make me appreciate it that much more when we get it to a sweet spot where it's fun to drive. So I wrote myself a computer script which would check daily the different listings of cars that I deemed to be cool, a lot of which were on my video explaining the top 10 all-wheel drive project cars in my opinion. This way, I would be one of the very first people to see if a local posting had a car that I was both interested in and was a tremendous deal. And it just so happened that a few months after running this program, I found our second project car. This is the story of how I got it home. I'm currently running to the bank right now because I may have found our next project car, and it is probably not going to last long, so I want to be the first person to look at it. Popped up on Facebook Marketplace, and I thought it was a scam at first, but the guy got back to me, told me some more information, and oh my god, it's real. I'm not going to spoil it, but we're going to go get the money now and check it out more. Got the cash, we are all set. This is going to be wild and I can't wait. I've never done this and you'll see what I'm talking about in a moment. I'm excited, I am stoked, and this is gonna be a wild ride and a big, big, big step for the channel. We are about to go meet the guy and you'll see the car. I'm stoked. It's my B5 S4, and I can't believe I'm actually saying that. I found one in stick. It has a lot of problems, like a lot of problems. It needs a lot of work, but this is gonna be so fun. The bones are good. The bones are good, you guys, don't worry. Oh my god, we're gonna do so much to this thing. Now when I say that the bones are good on this car, I mean it, but that needs further explanation. Here's the story behind this guy. It was owned by a gentleman in my town who spent a lot of time and money at the dealership to maintain the vehicle. In fact, the car comes with engine receipts dating nearly back to when it was brand new. Things that were recently done include spark plugs, injectors, coils, new clutch, and resealing the entire engine. In other words, this car has had a lot of time, money, and effort put into the engine to make sure it's running beautifully. The car even has a boost gauge in it where I was able to start it up and tell that it had no boost or vacuum leaks. And on top of that, this car has never been tuned. And if you know anything about B5S4s, this is really rare. The only modifications done to this car is that it has 3-inch downpipes and a 3-inch exhaust, along with aftermarket diverter valves because the stock ones went out. In other words, this is almost the perfect project. Harking back to something I said early in this video, however, I was looking for a car that was broken, and the B5S4 has been tremendously going up in value as of late. I rarely see these cars for under $10,000 to $12,000 when in good condition. So let's talk about what this car needs. This car was a fantastic deal and I didn't pay near the price that most people ask for these. The main reason for that is that the previous owner, while driving it in the snow, swung the tail end around and bent his lower rear control arm. Consequently, the car was out of alignment for a while and it completely roasted the rear tires. The car is also going to need a completely new set of brakes and to have that whole system bled. On top of that, it needs a lot of work cosmetically both on the exterior and interior. There's also quite a few sensors on the car that need to be replaced to remove some of the lights on the Christmas tree dash. But honestly, I don't care how much work this is going to take, because I've always wanted to build one of these cars. If it comes to it, I'll rebuild the entire engine with forged internals and bigger turbos. Since this is my second car and I'm going to keep the TT and build it alongside this, I'll be able to do that just fine. The most finicky part of the B5S4 is the engine and transmission, and those work tremendously well. In my eyes, this car was a complete steal, and I am so excited to rebuild it in my vision. These cars require a fair amount of maintenance, and I believe that having to replace the rear control arm was the straw that broke the camel's back for the previous owner. The car was nearly drained of fluids and sat in a garage for several weeks. As soon as the posting went live, I was notified and I messaged him that day. I spent a lot of time that night checking the car out and making sure that it was something I wanted to invest in, and I pulled the trigger. The car is now mine, but there is a pretty big problem. Since the car was pretty much drained of fluids, I can't exactly drive it home. There's no brake pressure, so the brakes need to be bled. The car is also completely out of gas. And all in all, it just needs a lot of parts to get it to the point where I'd feel comfortable driving it home. So this is what I did.
My goal for today is to get a bunch of preliminary work done on the car so we can hopefully either drive it around the block by the end of it and actually see what the car can do and how bad of a condition it is actually in, or tomorrow we'll get it towed with my buddy. Either way, we're gonna get this car home by the end of the week. Huge shout out to the previous owner for letting me work on it outside of his house for the next few days. Today is finally the day. I went and got my car registered and insured, so we are good to bring it home and start working on it. I also set up an appointment to replace all of the tires on the car. I'm gonna take them all off, throw them in the TT, and take them to Les Schwab, and I'm gonna get brand new Continental DWSs. They're supposed to be quite good, and I'm honestly so stoked. It's gonna be wild when we actually fix it. I think tomorrow is the day when we're gonna get the majority of the actual work done, because we're probably gonna lose daylight by the time the tires are mounted on the wheels and all of that jazz. But we're waiting on my friend Marcos to get here with his trailer so that we can actually get the car home. Thankfully, this car is literally like 8 to 10 minutes away from my house. I'll show you the condition of the tires now so you can see why we want to replace them as soon as possible. Basically, the rear control arm is bent, but the car came with it, so I'm going to reinstall that, and then I'm going to do a string alignment on the car and bleed the brakes. Basically, we're gonna get the car to the point where we can drive it and enjoy it. And to do that, I'm gonna put new tires on it, and then we're gonna start restoring it. The dash is a legitimate Christmas tree, and I think it will be quite nice when we can actually get it working.
making? You made it.
Dude, that was
It's too close to this light. It's scary, isn't it?
Well, it's like I kept pumping the brakes and it was going back down, and I was like, because I push it down, and then
Oh, yeah.
by the time it gets to the bottom, it loses all pressure
So
and it goes back.
this is kite cable.
Yeah.
So that one is gonna work. Good. Pull that one. Put in first gear or something just in case. I know that's not good, but we're gonna do it anyways.
Now, I can't even begin to explain how excited I was when I saw my car making its way to my house. There's something tremendously special to see potential in a project. Not just that, but to buy a project and have a vision for where you want to take it. It's a really cool feeling, and I'm super excited to get working on this car. First, we need to get it off the trailer, which is easier said than done without brakes.
Turn it straight. The other way. Yeah, just a little bit. Go. Straight. Yeah. Come on. You're good. You're good. You did it. Oh, hang on. There you go. Turn that way a little. Turn this way. Yep. Straight. Good.
Well, this is my 2000 Audi S4, and it is going to be the second project for this channel. Now, I haven't fully decided what my ultimate goal for this car is, but I'd love to hear what you would like to see with it in the comment. First and foremost though, starting in the next episode, we are going to be restoring it. I need to get this car to the point where I can drive it around and enjoy it before I start modifying it like crazy. This car has an immense amount of potential, and I hope you guys see it just as well as I do. This is going to be an incredible project when it's all said and done. I'm super curious what you think of the car and what you think I should do with it. Let me know in the comments what you think. Thank you so very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and learned something. If you did, consider liking and subscribing for more. As always, everybody, have a wonderful day.